Good evening again, everyone, and welcome to yet another follow-up scene for Sabat Dinner Theatre and the aftermath of the monomancy of the King's Bastards. Following the previous events, Jean and Raven have gone to look for Bitter to see where she is and see how she's feeling about what transpired. And Raven makes a beeline for the burlesque club. That's where she would start looking. Is Jean following her?
Yep. Jean's following behind her. He doesn't know Bit's habits, so he'll let Raven lead the way.
I'm guessing that there's nobody in the burlesque club or anything. Raven goes in through the back door.
The burlesque house, Bitta had told everybody that they were going to have the week off due to them needing to use the burlesque area as a faux haven until the new one is set up. So there won't be anybody in the burlesque area of the theater, but there will be people working the rest of it.
Okay. Raven enters the room and she looks around, and presumably she doesn't see Bitter immediately by sight, as she goes and checks all the usual places like where Bitter sleeps, etc.
You'll see everything around the bar looking eerily undisturbed, because the last Raven remembers was Bitta going through all the boxes, trying to, see what's of value and reorganize things. So when you're walking around, you're gonna notice that things haven't been touched since the last time, with the exception of, if you look over by the stage, there are a few new boxes that you haven't seen. One particular is a giant wooden crate. Well, not giant, but it's at least like 3 feet long, 1 foot high, 2 foot wide. And that'll be over by the stage on the floor.
When Raven goes over that way, Jean is like trying to ferret out anything. He's got like 1 success with perception investigation to find out, any stuff about the area.
So investigation. Okay, so if you look around, you'll notice a lot of boxes that had come from Fort Quinn. And those are all cardboard boxes. Again, you'll notice a wooden box. Is this Jean's first time in the actual theater?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's a nice stage in the front of the burlesque house with some poles on the side. There are black and red leather chairs everywhere with little tables. A nice aisle, a bar, and in the back there are a few bedrooms where the girls sleep. It actually seems more of like a high-end burlesque house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jean's just looking everywhere.
You see Raven get down on the floor near where the boxes are, where Bitter was picking up and packing boxes a couple of days previously, and she puts her hands flat on the floor and uses her scent to see if she can find anything at difficulty. I think having my senses at halves my difficulty for this role, so. All successes.
Oh, that's a lot of successes. Okay.
I'm
so when you
looking for fresh scent of bitter. I don't know why I did that. Again.
With you crawling around on the floor, you're not going to see anything, but you're going to get a small little hint of Bitter's scent, and that will cause you to start following it. And when you get closer towards the stage, you're going to get like a big hit of her scent.
Mm-hmm.
Can we say that this is like 9 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
All right. Because I'm going to make it so that Bitten's fucking still asleep under there. She's going to be a very depressed vampire, and she's going to be sleeping. We're in torture.
Jean is an early riser, is probably up before everybody else.
Okay, so continue.
You see Raven sort of crawling around, and she appears to get hold of something and move towards the stage. And
Okay.
she you can't hear a sound because vampires don't breathe, as previously explained. But she is making the motion of tracking by scent. So her head's lifted.
Well, tracking by scent, you still have to breathe to take in scent.
Yeah, but you don't hear. I mean, it's not the same as going because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not a audible sound. It's more of a visual cue.
Okay. So if you're smelling her and you're kind of like going in front of the thing, trying to smell out, where at the front of the theater you are, he will try to look for one of those like theater trapdoors. They have a name. I don't remember what they're called right now.
Trapdoor?
No. They actually have a name.
Oh, okay. So are you looking for one of the ones that's in the back of the burlesque house or on the stage?
I would probably be looking for. Initially, I would go back to where things open and close and see if there's like a lever that opens a trap door, and then I would go onto the stage itself and look for a seam if I didn't find a lever that opens it.
Well, when you're up and around this stage, you won't actually find a lever for a trapdoor for the top of the stage. The stage is only about 3 or 4 feet from the ground. It's not a tall one. The other stages, though, they would have, but not this one. This one's shorter.
Okay.
And so be looking on top for a door.
I would be looking for a seam at the top, and then if I didn't see a seam at the top, I would move to the floor and see if there's a panel that you can move.
Okay, now Raven, what are you doing?
She's doing pretty much the same. She's like scrabbling around more at floor level because that's where she's crouched, looking for. She's trying to concentrate on where the scent is the strongest and trying to find out where there would be under the stage or if there's any floors.
And so you're still tracking by scent, correct?
Yeah.
And you're on the floor in front of the stage while Jean is standing on top of the stage?
Yeah.
Okay. As you're getting closer to the left corner panel of the stage, the scent of bitter will start getting stronger. But when you look on the floor or around the stage, it's a little difficult because everything has a lot of ornate work. It's got a lot of line work. It's got a lot of wood paneling. So it would take you a little bit to see if you could find a seam along there. But you're in the right direction.
Raven takes off her leather jacket, and you can see the fine black feathers that stretch all up of her arms. And she seems to be like sort of she's on all fours and seems to be sort of getting ready to crawl or dig. She's around here somewhere. I can smell her.
Okay. Jean will go over to that spot and looking for a seam at the top, and then he will make sure, just because it's one of those, it looks really like, old and ornate, he will try to press some of the pieces of the frame to make sure that doesn't make it slide away or something.
Good job. Roll me investigation, perception.
Pew!
All right, good job, Jean. All right, and in pressing on these wood panels, after the third or fourth press in, all of a sudden you'll hear a little click. And when you release, the door will open. And when you open the door the rest of the way, all you'll do is see the top of Bitta's head and her curled into the fetal position in sleep.
Gene will hop down there, and with his real manly strength, he is going to reach in and gently pick up Bitta, and he will just set Bitta on his lap, and he will just kind of ask Raven to sit beside him and wait for her to wake up.
Raven sort of initially she crouches over the opening and sort of looks in and looking a bit sort of like fuck about it. And then when she sees Bitter, she carefully approaches and sits down, waiting for Bitter to wake. I do believe that you can make a path test to see if you wake up or not.
A path test. Now, what would I have to do?
How many? What's your path rating?
I have 3 dots.
Okay, you roll those dice at difficulty. It's quite a high difficulty. It's not a humanity path, so I think it's like 7 or 8.
Do me the favor and roll for me.
I got you. Or she can. Somebody. Oh, look, you got lots of success.
Oh, hey. So, yeah, I guess we'll wake up. The last she remembers, she had crawled into that space underneath the stage. So when she wakes up and she realizes that she's not in this dark little hole, she'll kind of hop up and out of Jean's lap and step a couple of feet backwards and just kind of look at you guys both in the eyes real quick and then look down at the floor, crossing her arms in front of her and standing very uneasy and unsettling right now. She's not. You can tell just by looking at her that she's not in a good mood. I won't even let you guys. Like, you guys don't even need to roll a perception. Like, you could just tell she's not in a good mood just by the way she's standing. Well, she's not going to say anything either because she's fucked up. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Gene sits there for a minute and he says, "Good night, Sveta."
She will rub her forearm and pick at her elbow for a moment and say, "Good night, Dr. Jean."
As soon as Bitter popped up, Raven's all the feathers on Raven's arms sort of like stood on end in alarm. She's still sort of sat there looking slightly puffed up at the moment with widened eyes at Bitter. Takes her a few moments to calm down, and then she's just looking at her with a kind of a gentle curiousness, but letting Jean do the talking for the minute.
Jean will absently be smoothing out Raven's plumage on her arm, kind of patting and moving the feathers straight again. And I know that you're upset, Bitta.
My
And
being upset doesn't mean much at the moment. My apologies, I should know my place. Sorry for interrupting you, Douglas.
then he will get off the thing and he will walk towards Svita. And he will grab her by the hips and lift her over his head and say, "Thank you so much."
Okay, she's got a very puzzled look on her face at this moment. Being lifted up off the ground, she just kind of stiffens her body and does this whole planking thing, like she's now
Mhm.
like really stiff. Because I
And
mean, the last time she's been lifted, I mean, she was alive. So she's just gonna get really weird, and then realizing that she's up really high, she'll stick her hand out and pat Jean's head. Um, you're welcome.
he will move back and set her on the stage. "Thank you so much. While the situation did not go as favorably as you thought, um, you gave us the opportunity to showcase ourselves before the Cardinal. And now he knows that we are dedicated to the sword and we do not fear death. Raven has been elevated in his eyes. The indiscretion for feeding on Raven is forgiven. And he likes the direction that we'll be taking. All in all, I would call this a victory."
I'll agree with you on some of that. It is a victory for the bastards because now we are seen in a better light. It is a victory for Raven because now she has been elevated. It is a big victory for you, for now all of your dreams can come to fruition with a pack of your own. And then she'll look down at her hands and start rubbing them together. But I've only gone down in the Cardinal's eyes, I'm sure. Trying to be something I knew I could never have done properly. What was I even thinking? She'll bring her knees into her chest on the stage. I know I wanted you to become Duckness. I know I'm not good enough to do what's right for the pack. But I fear that now I am seen as fool and weak and potentially unuseful towards the sect. So please tell me if there's anything that I can do to prove myself otherwise.
Oh my, I would say quite the opposite. And this is probably a very weird side of Gene, because first you saw the fake Gene, and then you saw the very passionate, aggressive Gene, and now he's almost whimsical. And he rests his head on your knees and to the side, looking at Raven, and he says, "You have shown that your pride can be overcome. You have learned hubris for reaching what is not your place. You are differently gifted. You are leading our spirits. You are guiding our passion and making sure that we don't fall to assail. You, darling, are the heart of the pack. There are times when the heart leads and there's times when the brain leads.
Never thought of it that way before. Being the heart and being the brain, being the Duckness and being the priest.
One cannot function without the other.
Ain't that the truth? Well, wait. Don't we function without a heart?
No.
To an extent, if you remove the heart from a vampire's body, it dies instantly. It doesn't pump blood, but its necessity is there and must be closely guarded lest you be staked.
Mm, and she'll look at Jean's face, and just a small little upcurl of her lips will start to appear. And she is starting to feel just a little better, but it's like almost as if she's trying to fight feeling happy because she doesn't want to feel happy. She wants to go down this spiral for another little while because she feels like she's done so much wrong for the pack in such a little amount of time. And she'll look at Raven and say, but with so many changes on this pack, I fear that other packs in the city might see us as weak as well.
Gene, that's when Gene looks up and there's like a wide-eyed look in his face and a big smile, and he's like, that is exactly what we want.
Why would we want that?
Because they'll underestimate us, and that gives us a chance to gain solid ground. They are established. We need the time to get Valdreed, trust each other, and then gain plans on how we will become the dominant pack. They have the advantage of knowing each other. We will have this time while we are seen as weak, and then they won't know what hit them. Everything's going according to the brain's plan.
Raven, she's sort of been left behind when you sort of lifted her out of the space, and she very gradually climbs out. She's keeping herself back for a few minutes, watching, listening to what Jean has to say, and agreeing, wishing that she could say something so eloquently. But he says, it was my fault that the Cardinal was angry, and I owe you an apology, but
You do not owe me anything, Raven. It was me. I took on a role that I knew I couldn't do. I said some things that I probably shouldn't have said in that way. I probably should have worded them in another, more proper fashion, and then me preparing myself for the monomancy and not realizing that I was putting too much of myself into it, causing myself to go on this bestial attack almost. You shouldn't have had to do that. You should have just let me attack and get staked and then see my true death in front of the Cardinal for my insolence.
Would never have happened.
How are you so sure of that?
oh dear.
I only say this because I witnessed the Cardinal take such extreme measures over someone saying something wrong.
Raven botched something. What did you botch?
Basically, I kind of... Raven is... When you start talking about how you should have been let to have the true death and that sort of thing, it affects how Raven feels on the situation. Because of... Yay, Valdry rules again. And you see her go really wide-eyed. And she says, there is no way that I would ever allow you to experience a true death, if I can stop it.
Vita will see the look on Raven's face, and she'll kind of take that as, oh, well, she's got a lot of strong feelings about that, and she'll quickly clam up and close up and look back down into her knees and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I want to continue this discussion later. Right now, Raven is impassioned, and you need time to wallow, obviously. So, as long as I know you're safe, that's fine. But I'm only going to give you 2 days. You have 2 days at most to get this out of your system. And at the end of that, I expect my usual pack priest back. Because we have much to do, and I need to let you in on my plans.
Vita will raise her head and she will open her arms and extend them around Jean's head, which is still kind of propped on her knees. And she will give a squeeze, and she will with slight confidence, say, "Thank you, my ducks. I will try not to spend 2 days like this. I will try to be back to normal as soon as I can. I apologize for my weakness being shown right now, but this is something I've been trying to fight for some time, and I just can't seem to do it at the moment. But I will be better for you, because you are better for us."
Good. Some weaknesses make you unique, and some break you. We will cut the ones that make you weak, and we will leave the ones that make you you. Raven, leave her to her contemplations. We should leave.
Raven's, for a point of reference, she's just going to spend some willpower here.
Okay.
And she still looks kind of really inflamed, but she manages to keep herself under control. And she says, I'm sorry I raised my voice.
Nothing to apologize for.
Yeah, Bitta will pop off the stage and she'll walk over towards Raven and she'll nuzzle her for a moment with the side of her body, saying, "It is I that is being this way. You are just trying to be a proper packmate, and clearly there's some bond between us. So it's my fault. I'm sorry. I promise I will become better. There's no
Your
reason
ductus,
to apologize."
your ductus is a bruja. I respect passion.
Raven said, sorry.
But now's the time. I say is but now's the time for Bitta's reflection.
Raven dips her head respectfully to Jean. Says, remember what we spoke about the other night to Bitter now. She just says quietly, remember what we discussed the other night. It's time for new beginnings. You know where to find me if you need me. And then Raven will start to head out.
Vita will walk back over towards the stage, and she'll crawl back into the hole underneath the stage, smiling at the duchess and Raven before she does. And she'll pop the door closed. Vita will just hide out under there for a while.
Okay.
All right.
And if you want to get seen, I think that would be best, unless you guys have things to talk about.
Nope.
That's the end of the scene. Jean will remark that it's fine if you still are feeling your feelings are stirred about Bitta. You may rest across the street on top of the building and watch if it would suit you better. But other than that, he will leave and go back to the pack building to contemplate.
And the habit of this character being way too emo about women continues. But she will she's going to sort of understand that things need to be left to be, and she'll go back to the communal haven and sleep tonight.
Woo-woo. Insane.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Yay!